Guys, you're not ugly, you just need to lose weight.
Becoming a K-pop idol is harder than becoming an Olympic athlete.
1日に300キロカロリー。いや、本当に死ぬかと思いましたね。
Don't believe me? Try only eating cucumbers for years, dancing so late into the night you don't get any sleep, being told at 14 your face isn't good enough. So recently I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, which is a show that came out at the end of July, and then within 2 months it has already become the most watched film on Netflix ever. The film centers around K-pop, or Korean pop music, which is a manufactured style of music that focuses on boy and girl groups with stars by the names of idols. So in K-pop Demon Hunters, it's about a group of girl idols who are fighting to save the world against a group of boy idols who are also demons. It's pretty good. And when I watched the film, it got me thinking, how hard is it really to create these boy and girl groups of idols in real life? And so that's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering the history of K-pop. I know. We're going to be covering how it came to the West. We're going to be covering the insane training process and what it takes to become an idol, and insane Korean beauty standards. So insane, right? Okay, so yeah, by the end of this video, you two are also going to know the truth behind K-pop. In 2017, the world was taken by storm when the song Mic Drop by a small band named BTS began playing on the radio. The song, as it turned out, was not by an American group, but instead by a group of young, attractive Korean boys. A year later, a Korean girl group known as Blackpink hit the Billboard Top 100 with their song Do Do Do. It seemed as though these groups were appearing for the first time. K-pop music must have been a new style of music, right? No. K-pop music has been in the making for over 140 years. Let's get into why. K-pop originated in 1885 when the American missionary Henry Applezeller started to teach Western folk songs like My Darling Clementine and Mary Had a Little Lamb to Korean students. He added in Korean lyrics to the melodies, creating what would be known as Chunga songs. From 1910 to 1945, the Japanese had colonial rule over Korea.
Forbade speaking Korean and emphasized manual labor and loyalty to the emperor. And they basically were like, no, you're not going to speak that language anymore. You're going to speak Japanese.
And in order to hold on to cultural identity, the Korean people would sing Chunga to hold on to hope. Though Chunga was beautiful, it wasn't pop. The first Korean pop genre to appear was called trot. Trot music is a genre of music equivalent to Korean country. With faster rhythms. The genre gained popularity in the 1920s. After years of listening to trot music, young Koreans in the 1960s wanted to switch things up. And soon, a rock and roll band by the name of Saja Tajo and Boys would change Korean music forever. Seo Tajo got his start with rock bands as a bass player. Soon, he grew interested in American hip-hop and other American styles. In 1991, he, along with two other well-known breakdancers, started putting together pop, rock, rap, and hip-hop dances. They officially debuted their project and group on NBC's talent show in the United States. The song was called Nira Aireo, which means in English, I know. Though the judges on the show didn't love the song, the Korean public did. Over the course of the band's career, they made 4 albums, all very popular in Korea, but the popularity did not transfer over to the United States. In 1996, Young Hoon-suk from the band wanted to replicate the type of music and success that his group had experienced. So he started YG Entertainment, a company designed to find, create, and market new groups of pop singers in Korea. This was the start of K-pop as we know it today. Nowadays, YG Entertainment is one of the big 4 K-pop companies, the others being HYBE, formerly known as Big Hit Entertainment, SM, and JYP. These K-pop companies are known for finding young talent, training them, and turning them out as famous idols in Korea. Stray Kids. In 1950, a woman by the name of Lee Nang-young, a successful Korean singer, was barely surviving in downtown Seoul. The Korean War had taken the life of her husband, and she had just lost her home. In order to survive and provide for her 7 children, she decided to create a music act with her 3 daughters. They called themselves the Kim Sisters. Lee Nang-young taught her daughters American music so they could perform for USO clubs and U.S. military bases around Korea. Soldiers liked them because they reminded them of the Andrews Sisters style of music. It wasn't long before the girls were scouted by an American entertainer, Tom Ball, a nightclub owner and talent manager based in Las Vegas. Their popularity after they moved to Las Vegas skyrocketed, especially after multiple appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show. Over the next several decades, K-pop companies made attempts to get their groups famous in Korea, like the Kim sisters. For example, groups like Girls' Generation and Wonder Girls were widely promoted in the US, but both gained very little traction. Though the girl groups didn't succeed, in 2012, the song Gangnam Style by PSY came out and immediately gained popularity.
Star.
This song was a large part of why K-pop surged in the US. But it was not until the song Mic Drop by BTS came to the stage in 2017 that K-pop companies came to life in the USA. It looked to the world as though these bands appeared out of nowhere, but that's not true. As we see in this next section, bands like BTS dedicate their whole lives to training in hopes of debuting as a K-pop idol. Because that's what K-pop companies do. They create stars. Each year, thousands of hopeful people audition for an opportunity to go and train as a K-pop idol. They are judged on their singing, their dancing, appearance, and stage presence. Only a few are selected to become trainees, the formal word for an idol in training. Roughly 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 10,000 people pass an audition, depending on the company and audition type. Lisa, a member of HYBE's girl group Blackpink, beat out over 4,000 other people for the spot in her girl group. After passing an audition, trainees are expected to leave their families and move into dorms with other K-pop trainees. It's common for other Asians who are not Korean to be selected as trainees and come out to live and train in Korea. In an interview with Lisa from Blackpink, the outlet shared what she said training was like. Lisa, who joined YG Entertainment in 2010, said that trainees practiced and trained from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day for years as part of their program, only getting 2 Sundays off a month, as trainees worked to refine their vocal, choreography, and language skills. The intense trainee program started to wear on her after about 3.5 years in. See a future. The future is black. It's blank. You're not able to visualize it, she told the outlet, looking back on the time before Blackpink had been created. It's like you've lost your energy a bit. But she was able to push through thanks to her mom and eventual bandmates, Jisoo, Jennie, and Rose. Lisa said she felt like she'd hit a ceiling, telling her mom, "I think this is my limit. I think this is it." But her mom encouraged her to stick it out for one more year. And it worked out. She debuted in Blackpink. An article I read called Why K-pop Trainee Walked Away from Her Debuting, Kathy Lee, a former K-pop trainee, talks about her training experience and what her actual days were like. She said, "They basically set a rule where you couldn't leave the studio until after 4 a.m. We had to text in the company group chat saying I arrived or I left, so they could track us down. Because I was still on my summer break, I came in during the day. Everyone who had school would just sleep in class because training took the whole night."
Sometimes you go home feeling like you're above the clouds, and then other times you might go home feeling like, oh, I want to give up. Like, this is.
On a day like that, I would get to the studio around noon, and we would start jumping rope while singing to increase our stamina. And because we wanted to lose weight too, we'd wear parkas. This was also during the summer. There's no culture of work smart or work hard in Korea. There's only work hard. If you're there until 4 a.m., it means you're doing something right.
Every single day you're on a constant, besides, maybe taking a break to eat or go to the restroom, you're constantly working.
But we would be so tired. There were security cameras in the studio, so the company can see if we were sleeping. Sometimes we would take naps in the changing rooms, because that was the only place without cameras. The mentality was, it doesn't matter, just train, train, train. In the beginning, though, when I was learning Korean and not fully on my diet, I still got 8 hours a day of sleep and could eat sushi. In addition, the trainee life is very uncertain. In order to join a company, you must sign a contract determining the amount of time you promise to train with them. Most contracts last anywhere from 5 to 7 years. During this time, a trainee's living costs will be covered by the company, but if they choose to leave their training, in most cases, they are expected to pay back all living expenses. This is only if they leave their training early. This can drop people into thousands of dollars of debt. On the other hand, if a company chooses to drop a trainee, they can do it with no explanations, crushing a trainee's dream of being an idol. Each month, trainees are randomly put into groups to train with. At the end of each month, team performances and individual members' performances will be assessed. The board members will watch them and choose who to keep and who to let go. Kathy Lee explained in her article, "Every month we had an exam. I think people know about this now. Every month they'd cut people. We'd start with 20 girls, but by the end of my training, we had 7. Every month they'd cut down on 2 girls. For the first 2 months, I didn't participate in the exams because they knew I was such a rookie. It wasn't really fair. After the 3rd month, I started joining the girl groups and had my first project with them. We danced to Girls' Generation."
Kathy Lee also speaks in her article about how it was very hard for the girls to become close to each other, and how instead of using their names, instructors, like dance instructors, would refer to them by numbers, which they wore on their clothing.
Being pretty is simple. All you have to do is follow the checklist. Start with bleached skin, next a slim figure, a sharp chin, and then double eyelids.
Button nose, flat toned stomach, thigh gap.
Though the process of becoming an idol is extremely difficult, one might argue that the most difficult part of being an idol is the pressure of beauty. Asian beauty standards are different, sometimes even opposite, of those of the West. For example, Asian beauty standards value pale skin, thinness, short faces, long legs, double eyelids, and full cheeks. While in the West, being tan, curvy, with a small waist, and a thin face like a runway model is ideal. In fact, this Asian brand of beauty is so distinct that it has created a whole industry called Korean beauty or K-beauty. It is a difficult question to determine whether K-pop shaped K-beauty or whether it's the other way around. Let's take a look at each of these Eastern beauty standards now and decide. An important K-pop beauty standard is having pale skin. Koreans and many Asian people are born with naturally lighter skin, but often want it to be as pale as possible. In olden times, the darker your skin was, the poorer you were, because it meant you were working in the fields, whereas wealthy women could stay indoors and maintain their perfectly white skin. We see this beauty standard in the makeup of the geisha, a courtesan who paints her face white. In traditional Japanese culture, a white face connects fairness and refinement. In fact, in China and Japan, there are many sayings which promote the idea that pale skin is worth so much that it can hide 7 other flaws. Many Koreans use skin whitening products, making the Korean skin whitening industry worth $8.8 billion. In comparison, in America, the self-tanning business has a net worth of $1.16 billion. K-pop idols are known to spend hardly any time in the sun at all, but people still catch them using skin whitening creams on their face.
Vitamin D, we barely get to see sunlight.
Yes.
So I think it's important to have vitamin D. Barely get to see sunlight.
Side note, but if I'm being honest, this all reminds me of Michael Jackson's really unfortunate skin color journey.
Guys, you're not ugly, you just need to lose weight.
The next Korean beauty standard is thinness. Historically, long before K-pop, Asian women were known for being small. Feet binding and waist binding were a large part of the culture for wealthy women. The underlying message behind these practices was that a woman should be seen and not heard. Being able to move freely was less important than how they looked. Much like the skin whitening history, how thin you were often reflected the class you belonged to. In fact, size still reflects your class in K-pop today, with so-called fat or curvy idols being less favored than the skinny idols, which is insane because those fat idols weigh like 120 pounds. So that says a lot about the industry. In most Western and Eastern entertainment industries, being slender is favored. For example, in ballet, being thin is the goal, but in K-pop, being thin is the only option. The minimum weight standard for a K-pop idol is most often 50 kilograms, or 110 pounds. Height does not matter. You still must weigh the same as shorter idols. Boys have a slightly higher weight, but are still tiny compared to the normal American weight for men. One trainee explained, "At weekly weigh-ins, your body would be analyzed by a trainer, and they would announce your weight to everyone in the room."
물도 못 먹었어.
진짜 오랜만에
If you were over the designated weight, they would ration your food. Sometimes they would even take away entire meals for those overweight trainees, and those trainees would just be given water. It was common for them to pass out from exhaustion. Often we had to help carry unconscious trainees back to the dorms. I passed out twice during my dance practice, probably because I was dehydrated or hadn't eaten enough. I woke up in bed not knowing how I got there. The attitude among the other trainees was like, "Good for her, she wants it so much." Looking back now, I think it was really disgusting. As intense as this does sound, this is not the worst of the famous K-pop diets. The rapper from the group Big Bang weighed 90 kilograms or 198 pounds, which is not acceptable by idol standards. His company told him that if he wanted to debut, he would have to lose weight. So, for a month, he only drank water and ate red beans, and exercised every day to lose weight. He lost 20 kilograms or 44 pounds in almost 40 days, more than a pound a day, yeah. An idol named Momo from the girl group Twice only ate ice cubes for a week, and IU, a famous solo singer, got called a pig on stage, so she only ate cucumbers for 2 years. And yet, even as people see this excruciating pain these idols go through every day for the sake of beauty, everyday people are still willing to starve themselves and go through these pains just to feel like they themselves are equal with their idols.
不要整得太过分，还是可以。其实我女儿长得非常漂亮，她不需要整容。但是如果她想再稍微整一下，我们也不。
2岁。
Though the body's look is important in Korea, facial harmony and the facial look are just as valuable. Korean job applications are famously known for having applicants include pictures of themselves when applying for a job, with it being very hard to get a job if you have not gone through beauty procedures. In fact, South Korea leads the world with approximately 8.9 plastic surgeries per 1,000 people. Some of the most popular surgeries in Korea include and I'm going to say this wrong, sorry, Eskioso, a procedure that makes your eyes puffier, that makes your under eyes puffier, giving you a more alive nose jobs, lip fillers, and even chin Botox to make your face look shorter. So they'll take this part of your chin and bring it up. K-pop idols, unlike American celebrities, are praised for having new faces through plastic surgery, not shamed. Because of idols showing off their new faces, medical tourism has become a very popular thing in Korea. Over 100,000 people in 2024 alone came to Korea to get procedures done. Why, you may ask? Let's be honest, K-pop is the answer. Before 2016, K-beauty was not a well-known industry in the West. But with the rise of K-pop, the industry blew up. Though people love K-pop, many people don't understand the hardship on an idol's everyday life. In this next part, we will be diving into the real life of K-pop idols and what it takes to keep their fans happy.
寿命。
The life of a K-pop idol is very damaging and takes a toll on an idol's mental health. All K-pop groups follow a certain promotion process after they debut. The film K-pop Demon Hunters illustrates the promotion process well. First, idols record an EP or a single or an album. For example, Golden from the film K-pop Demon Hunters. They shoot music videos, they do performances and variety shows, nearly every day for 6 weeks. The end of a promotion process climaxes at an award show where hopefully the group wins. This process can be mentally draining for many idols. Also, in K-pop Demon Hunters, we see the same process in the debut of the Saja Boys. You can see that all the members fit the roles of a K-pop group follow, with members assuming one of these roles: the leader, the main vocalist, the rapper, the main dancer, the visual. The most handsome / pretty member of the group according to Korean standards, and I can't say this, mankani, or the youngest member of the group. It is often easy for people to forget that idols are human too. It's hard for people to view them as people who need breaks. K-pop star Moonbin of the group Astro passed away in April 19th, 2023 at the age of 25. While the exact cause of his death is under investigation, authorities suspect suicide. Along with Moonbin, there have been many other cases of idol suicide or death from eating disorders and mental problems. Former member of the group FX, Soli, passed away on October 14th, 2019. Soli died by suicide. And amid severe cyberbullying and criticism, though K-pop idols love their fans, it can be hard to look past the constant pressure to be perfect. In Korean, there is a word sasong. This term is derived from the Korean word sa, meaning private, and sang, meaning life. The word is used as a nickname for crazy Korean fans obsessed with idols. Songsangs are known to engage in activities like stalking, obtaining private information about idols, phone numbers, passports, and addresses, attempting to contact idols and break into houses. In some cases, sang's have even attempted to kill idols. Unlike in the West, where scandals like cheating and lawsuits are considered good entertainment,
Sit down. Your opinion. You're nothing. Talk about gutter. You're gutter.
In Korea, any sort of scandal is enough for an idol to lose all their fans. Idols are expected to provide perfection, and fans often feel that it is their right to tell the idols what they can and cannot do. Straight dating is extremely off limits for idols because of the fact that the fans feel less connected to the idols if they have someone else in their life they love more than the fans. One Reddit post regarding the fact as to why idols are frowned upon for dating reads, "It breaks the parasocial aspect. Your idol is supposed to be yours, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or your best friend. You're supposed to love them and receive love back. It's a betrayal." I personally think that these standards are way too high, and I would like to see that their fans live by these standards for like even a week. I don't think they could do it. So in the end, what do I think about K-pop? K-pop has gone through so many different stages of life, and I do find it very interesting to see where it's come from and how it's like formed a view of international people and like how it's formed the view of Korea. I do personally think that it's very extreme, although it's enjoyable, but like most things in life, let's try not to become crazy and obsessive about it. Keep all things in moderation. K-pop can definitely take things too far and extreme. Like K-pop Demon Hunter says, take a break and go to the bathhouse. Though we all want stars or idols to look up to, let's not sacrifice real human beings so we can admire an idea of perfection. Love you guys. Thank you for watching my video. Bye.